Magical treats taste great, but justice and equality taste better. To combat hate, all ad revenue from my HP Kitchen will be donated to trans and LGBTQ charities. Thank you for supporting the kitchen and helping make the world a better place. Mischief managed.
Hello witches, wizards, and those who have just escaped from Azkaban, welcome back to my Harry Potter kitchen. This is the YouTube series where I'm baking my way through the Harry Potter books, creating magical recipes for each and every item of food and drink that we find inside. If you missed last week's recipe where we served up a magical steak and kidney pudding topped with a lightning bolt poppy seed pastry, then check out the link down below in the description to catch up. And if you're new to the kitchen and you want to see some more Harry Potter recipes, make sure you hit that subscribe button, click on the notification bell, and you'll get an alert every Magic Monday when there's a brand new recipe. Speaking of which, there's plenty more on the way, so let's make some magic. This week we're moving on to chapter 7 of the Prisoner of Azkaban, the Boggart in the Wardrobe. Classes are continuing at Hogwarts with potions with Professor Snape and defense against the dark arts with Professor Lupin. During the more practical class we do have a little disturbance from Peeves the poltergeist, who is up to his usual tricks, and that's where we see our next recipe, stuffing the nearest keyhole with chewing gum. Come on now Peeves, that's just a waste of good gum. Chewing gum is back on the menu, and in year 1 of the Philosopher's Stone we also created Drooble's best blowing gum. That's actually mentioned again in this book, so we have to do a little blueberry flavour for that. But we also see Peeves mucking about the castle and blowing a wet raspberry, so that gave me the inspiration to make different flavours of our gum this time. Now our Drooble's one were in lightning bolts, so this time I want to make a more traditional gumball that are going to be Hogwarts house coloured and have different flavours. Let me know down below in the comments which flavour would your favourite gumball be. First up, I'm going to create my Gryffindor raspberry gumballs. For this recipe you will need some gum pellets, which you can buy online if you can't find them in a local store. Pour those into a heat-proof bowl along with your glucose syrup, your raspberry flavouring and some red food colouring. Stir that through slightly, and then I'm going to pop that into the microwave for about 30 seconds. At this point you can remove it from the microwave and give it a good stir through. If it's still slightly too thick, pop it back in for another 15 seconds. Once you have a nice smooth and runny consistency, pour out your icing sugar onto a work surface and make a well in the middle before pouring in your red mixture. You then want to gently fold in that icing sugar as it begins to thicken up your gum. The next part is super easy as well. You just want to knead that through, working in as much icing sugar as you can. As you go it will keep on getting thicker, so once you feel a lot of resistance from the gum and it doesn't seem to be taking in any more icing sugar, you're good to go. At this point you can divide your gum into about 4 or 5 bite-sized pieces and then roll them in the palm of your hand into the signature gumball. Pop them to one side and let's move on to our next flavour. This one is going to be the Slytherin Peppermint flavour, and again it's a very similar process. Add in your gum pellets, liquid glucose, peppermint extract and green food colouring. Heat that up until it's nice and melted and then stir through. Pour into your icing sugar well and then knead that until you have a nice even colour. Remember, at any time if you've left the gum for too long and it begins to harden, it's quite difficult to knead, and you can always pop it back into the microwave for another few seconds to soften up. Keep on going until it stops taking in any more icing sugar. Divide that into 4 or 5 bite-sized pieces and then roll into your gumballs. My favourite thing about making homemade gum is that you can personalise any of the flavours to suit your taste, so I'd love to know what wild and wacky flavours would you try. The ones in this recipe are slightly more traditional, but you can always add a little exotic twist. Okay, let's move on to our final 2 flavours. Next, we're going to create our orange gumballs for Hufflepuff, and again, you know the process by now. We're starting off with our gum pellets, some liquid glucose, orange extract, and some yellow food colouring gel. Melt that down and then give it a good stir through before pouring into your icing sugar well. Knead that along for a couple of minutes until all of the icing sugar is incorporated, divide it up and then shape into your gumballs. And last but by no means least, we're going for blueberry Ravenclaw gumballs. You should know the process off by heart by now. Gum pellets, liquid glucose, blueberry extract, and blue food colouring go into our bowl, melt that down and then add into your icing sugar well. Once it's fully kneaded through, you can then divide that up and shape into your final gumballs. And it really is as easy as that to create your own personalised set of Hogwarts House inspired gumballs. Once you've mastered this trick, you can set up your own sweet shop. Watch out, honeydukes. And with that, our Hogwarts House gumballs are complete. Let me know down below in the comments which one are you going to try. Gryffindor's raspberry, Ravenclaw's blueberry, Hufflepuff orange, or Slytherin peppermint. That's all for this week's recipe, but if you want to see more from my Harry Potter kitchen, then make sure you hit that subscribe button, click on the notification bell, then you'll get an alert every Magic Monday when there's a brand new recipe. I'm off to blow some bubbles, so I'll see you next time.